Hey Tyler, how's it going?
What's up, dude?
Hey, how you been?
Good. I'm just been a long week here. Hang on.
I
I
know,
forgot my
really
speaker.
busy. Your release of Phantom Pain.
Oh yeah, so is this video or audio only?
This is just audio only, sir.
Oh, cool. I had my lights all set up and shit for no reason. All
I
right.
know. Putting on makeup all the bit.
Yeah, no, yeah, you didn't get that out of me today. I'm a little too tired from this weekend. Wasn't in the makeup mood.
Yeah, dude, no problem.
I, I have like one eye
Congratulations on
that's
Phantom
twitching.
Pain.
Oh, thank you so much, dude. It's been really cool.
Yeah, I see that it was in Times Square recently. Like they had it up.
Yeah, we had a billboard on the release day out there. I did this thing. I don't know if you pay attention to our social media, but we have
Oh
like
yeah.
this thing called Vice streams that we did on the
Mhm.
band page. And I one of the girls I had on there, her name is Jules, and she's like TikTok pop. She's like TikTok famous, but she's like a pop singer. And she had one, and I was like, "Yo, like how'd you pull that off?" And she kind of got me the in there, so we were able to kind of do that. So that was pretty sweet.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
But I just wanted to say thank you so much for being willing to hop on and talk to me a
No
bit about
problem.
your life and your band Saving Vice.
Yeah, no, I love this stuff. This is kind of this is kind of like my job in the band because I'm the one with the motor mouth. So,
Yeah, I appreciate it. So I guess let's start at the beginning. So when did you first start getting into music?
oh man, uh, I mean, I feel like as far as making music, I didn't really do that until like yeah, I was in like a garage band when I was like a freshman in high school. Sort of, I remember I thought I wanted to play guitar, but I didn't at all. You know,
Yeah,
So it was kind of like I didn't really seriously get into it. It was one of those things where it's just like part of it was me not really knowing what I was doing, but the surroundings I grew up in, I there weren't a lot of people who wanted to really give me a chance to be in a band or make music. It was always really hard for me. I tried for a really long time, and I was kind of felt like that outlier in like the local scene. And I did like one or two bands, and I played some shows, and it was pretty fun. And then I ended up like moving to Vegas to start my old band in the name of with some people out there, and so we recorded some music. We never got to end up playing shows because of some we had some plans that kind of fell through where we were supposed to be our manager at the time, who is the vocalist of this band, Asking Alexandria.
hmm
He used to be a good friend of mine. We don't really talk anymore, but he had a whole plan where he wanted to kind of like record the album and like unveil it all under Sumerian. He was trying to get us as like his brainchild baby band, and like we recorded an album, but it kind of fell apart, and we never ended up really doing anything. And then I came back to Vermont, and then I was just kind of stuck, like out of the scene for a while until Saving Vice came along.
that's awesome. So how did you get to meet the guys, Chase and the other guys?
Well, so it's a really long story, but I'm trying to, and to sum it up. I basically like Robbie started the band at his dorm in St. Michael's College with a couple other dudes from like Craigslist in there. It's like past members. Like me, Chase, and Robbie are the only like if you count like from the day one, I guess era, like we're the only like original members. But we kind of rebranded and started over in 2018. So Sammy's pretty much an original member at this point. But like, yeah, he was just doing it, and then I think they hit me up to model merch, their first merch that they got. They got like their first shirt, and they just needed someone to like rock it in photos. And Chase like knew about me from my other stuff, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Tyler's like the only guy around Vermont who like has that aesthetic, pretty much. Who could, you know what I mean?" So, and then I ended up kind of being like, I missed music so much, but I kind of thought I didn't want to tour or be in a band anymore. I think it's because I just kind of gave up on it. I was just down and out. Like I didn't even go to shows a lot. I think because it just made me sad because I wasn't on stage. And I ended up talking to them, and at first I was like, well, I know so much about the music industry and how this stuff works. I know how to blow a band up. I know how the trends are. I know what's cool, what to do, what not to do, because I like watched it for so long, and I got to watch Asking go from nothing to who they are now, and I know every step they took to get there. And it was like,
Right.
and I watched Motionless in White do the same thing, and so it was like maybe I can like help them out at least and feel involved, and then I kind of got to talking with them about I don't know what I was trying to do. I don't think I was trying to manage them, but I was like, hey, it'd be cool to be able to just like tell you all the things that you should do right now to make the best out of what you guys are doing. and ultimately they ended up asking me to join the band, and I was like, yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't really want to. I'm not really committed, and I was like, I'll do it for the summer because I just wanted to play so bad. I didn't care if there was two people. It was a bar, and that's what we did. Was we played like a couple bar shows, the first couple shows, and then that same summer we opened for Devil Wears Prada. That was when shit kind of started to snowball. But yeah, it was like 2017, and no, it was 16 that I first met them because yeah, so this was like late 2016 I joined technically.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
it's crazy to think about now.
So were you always like did you always listen to metalcore before you created like a metalcore band, or
I
like what
mean,
was your
here
music
and there.
taste like?
Yeah, like here and there. Predominantly like started off with like the Used and My Chemical Romance and Senses Fail, and then that segued into Under Oath, which I would say is probably the band that set me down that path ultimately. But I always liked Linkin Park and stuff like that, and like new metal stuff, and alt rock, and I liked rap here and there. I've never been like a huge rap fan. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's it's got to be like really specific, really good stuff to hold my attention. But yeah, I think I just always gravitated towards the edgier stuff, and I just my taste got heavier as I went. I used to when I first listened to Underoath, I was like, I just like the singing, but I don't like the screaming parts as much. And now the screaming parts are my favorite parts. So it's like
Yeah.
I kind of warmed up to it, and then next thing you know, I was like jamming Suicide Silence, and then but yeah, I mean, I've always liked. To me, metalcore is such a broad term now. I feel like
Right.
metalcore has like four subgenres within it nowadays.
Oh yeah, for sure. All the music genres are just kind of colliding at this point in time.
Well, yeah, I mean, like Knock Loose considered metalcore, and we're metalcore, but we don't sound like Knock Loose, so it's like we must be in two separate categories. It's like Motionless and White and Knock Loose aren't the same band, but they're the same genre. It's that's how I kind of it's like a good comparison.
Yeah.
But then again, we have like a song that sounds like kind of like Knock Loose though, because we like to do our whole thing is like we're gonna be every single brand of metalcore all in one band. That was kind of like what we wanted to do. So that way we could do whatever we felt like doing at any given time, and it would fit with our sound.
Yeah. So you said that you're not the biggest fan of rap. What do you think about like rap metal, like a Falling in Reverse type of thing, or
Well, I mean, I think it's cool. I think if it's done well, it's awesome. I mean, like for all, I mean, rap metal is literally what got me into this music. I mean, Linkin Park. It's
yeah,
like that stuff back then. I mean, I think it was. I'm not gonna lie. I subjectively thought when Falling in Reverse first did it, it was really cringy, and then Ronnie got really good at it when like the singles started dropping after their albums, and I was kind of like, okay, I'm sold now. But I mean, like it's a learning curve. I like Dropout Kings is probably the best band doing it right now.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, like I think it's cool when it's done right. I think if you do it like I said, some people do things for a gimmick. Some people do it just because they want to give their homie something to do in the band. So they're like, "Oh, you can be the rapper or the second guy." You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's kind of just depends. It's got to be like necessary. And like for like us, for example, with Phantom Pain, like we're never gonna be like, yeah, what's like, you know what I mean? We're not gonna just start changing how we behave and talk and act to like suit this like culture that we're not really a part of. But like we like the art, and like we like poetry and the spoken wordy stuff, and Chase really likes rap a lot, and he listens to a lot of it. So I was like, and his scream style already kind of sounded rappy anyways. Like there's so many of our songs where we could re-record them with Chase rapping all his parts and it would fit just as well. So
yeah,
it's like I was like, why don't we just try that for this? We'll start doing a little, kind of throw a little bit in there, softball it, see how people like it. It's got like this trap beat. We might as well.
yeah. Like with Phantom Pain, it's like there was a like for his verse, it's like it slowed down a little bit, and he was like slow talking, screaming. I thought that was well done.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it would be cool to kind of go more of like a motionless and whitey new metal route than a trap route.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone keeps calling it a trap beat, but it was, which I guess it kind of is, but it's like we weren't really going for like like what I'm talking about. It's just
Yeah,
we weren't trying to ham fist it and be something we're not.
yeah,
I
for
guess.
sure. So are you originally from Vermont, and then you moved to
Yes.
Nevada?
Yeah,
Okay.
I grew up here. I moved to Nevada in like it was a long time ago, and then I was there for 3 years, and then I came back here. So Lived here pretty much my whole life except for 3 years.
Okay. So how would you describe your time in Nevada? Did you meet any other artists?
Oh my God, I met so many people, and it's still impacting me now. It's like it's safe to say that a lot of Saving Vice's success hinged on the connections and the stuff I had from those days. I mean, like our first tour, we toured with my old drummer's new band from Vegas. And like now we're like our publicist is working with my old friends from Vegas's new bands, and it's all crisscrossing. And it's weird. My drummer's like, "Yeah, you still got clout out here," and I was like, "Really?" Like, I did not realize. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's like I haven't been there in so long. It was like a second home. And now it's just been so long. Like, the whole group I used to hang out with isn't even like a group anymore. So it's like, but yeah, it's like it's weird. I met so many bands too, and people in bands because obviously like when you're like best friends with Danny Worsnop, you've afforded a lot of opportunities,
Yeah.
crazy and otherwise. But yeah, it was just honestly like a nonstop party when I was out there, like for me,
It was
and like
Vegas?
yeah, I mean, I don't think I had a lot of money. I went out there with a lot of money saved up, and I was just living off that. And then I worked odd jobs here and there. Like I worked at the mall, worked at Hot Topic, I bartended, I did whatever. And I was just couch surfing, living with different band members for pretty much the whole time. Because I was never supposed to be out there for that long. It was just until we could get shit off the ground. And
Right.
like, it just never really happened. And I ended up kind of living out there. But yeah, I mean, I still talk to a lot of my friends from out there. My buddy Chase, who was in Sigil, which is my drummer's new band, he was in Sigil, and now he's in that new band of Sulfur that just came out. Um, I can't remember who the vocalist was in another really well-known deathcore band. I just can't remember which it was. But yeah, so I mean, like it's cool being able to like still play and like hang out and network with like those people from back when I was younger when I first started out, and they're still a lot of them are still in the game, which is sweet.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Do you still keep in contact with Danny? You said that you're close friends with him.
Oh no, no, we I don't even know what I'd call it a falling out necessarily, but right around the time when his life kind of went to shit and he left the band, right before he quit asking, I kind of just stopped hearing from him, and I just never heard from him again. It was really weird.
Hmm.
Like it was like yeah, it like slowly fizzled out. I think he's like not even the same person though that like I used to know anymore. I mean, he's like yeah,
So
he
what
like is
era were you friends with him in?
from like before they came to America until Death to Destiny came out.
Hmm. Yeah,
So yeah,
I've
like
been following them a
I
long time, and it was really weird to see. It's almost like a light switch go off in his head. He went from being in
yeah
like this crazy metal, it was awesome, to We Are Harlot. I'm like, what
yeah
is going on?
he always had the butt rock thing. Like I mean, he had been working that into their choruses and music since Stand Up and Scream, but he never listened to metalcore. He always jammed like 80s metal and rock and roll stuff. Like that was always his thing, but it was more so like he was like, oh, I came to America and now I'm just like I guess like a don't tread on me redneck now and like we I don't even know it's like that was like the weird like honestly me and the guy I don't think have a single thing in common anymore like so more power to him. I'm glad he's married and living his life, and I'd love to play with him one day or like reconnect one day, but I doubt he has any interest in it, and I really don't care. I For me a saving vice was all about like not with the last band. It was like Danny kind of held my hand through the whole thing because I didn't really know what I was doing, and like I depended on him too much because I didn't know what step to make. And saving vice was like I did this. No one did this for me, Like I built this, like we built this. It was our writing, my lyrics, our marketing, our hard work, our networking, my connections. It was like, I just yeah, that's it is what it is.
Yeah,
I like I don't really hold grudges.
yeah, I
So
hear you. Was the first time that you went on Warp Tour? Was that the last one that they had?
yeah, yeah, we didn't tour. I think that's a comment. A lot of people get that mixed up. We did not as much. It's cool that people tell everyone that we played the Warp Tour, the whole thing, but we only played the Massachusetts date. But yeah, it was the last Warp Tour. That was like
Yeah, man, I was there. I was in the audience watching you
oh
guys.
yeah, yeah. That was fucking. That's still one of the craziest days of my life to this day. Like that's something I never thought I'd do, and then when Warped Tour got canceled, ultimately I was like, well, now I'm definitely never gonna get to do it. And
I
so,
don't know why they stopped. They were always so
uh,
successful doing the world tours.
yeah, I think it'll come back. I think with like everything coming back around, they just gotta wait until people miss it so much that every single one sells out again, you know?
Yeah.
But like, I think that it's just a lot goes into it. It's a giant pain in the ass. It's probably one of the most chaotic festivals ever. So, like, behind the scenes. I remember for a while we were almost like convinced that we weren't actually playing it because it was too good to be true, and like the instrument that it was so long before we heard from anyone, and then we got this one email with like this instructions, and it was just like it feels fake. You know what I mean? It was just still really surreal. We actually found out we were playing because someone we knew knows Kevin Lyman, and when our first music video we ever dropped, Exhale, came out in like I think very like the first month or two of 2018. It was while we were recording Colder Than Dark.
Hmm.
Um, he like we were having a New Year's Eve party, and it was like it was like after the ball had dropped, and my buddy comes over and he's like, "Yo, Kevin Lyman's on the phone right now," and I was like, I just heard his voice. I'm like, I'm drunk. Like, get the fuck out of here, right? And then like I guess this girl we knew like sent him our video and was like, "Oh yeah, you got to give them a spot on like the Ernie Ball stage," and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'll get a slot for them," and like literally just he saw our music video and was like, "Yeah, you guys can play." So that was pretty sweet.
That's
And
awesome.
that was when we started calling everything SV Magic. Like it was back in those first 2 days because like, oh, we got out of the show with Devil Wears Prada. It's like the SV Magic. Oh, we went to play the show and then met this late person who wants to be our manager and like is still working with us to this day. You know, and like, oh, yeah, it's like we just kind of work our asses off, and luckily a lot of bad things have happened, like stressful things because it's like a band is like a grain of sand gets in a watch and the whole thing stops working. It's like it can be kind of like that, but it's yeah, it's things have been we've been very. I don't know if it's luck or a combination of just busting our asses and doing everything in our power to try to make things work all the time, but we've had a lot of really cool opportunities that very few bands, especially as young as us, get to do. Like our first 2 years playing shows, we were playing with Under Oath at I Matter Festival and playing Warped Tour. It was like ridiculous. Like we were on the Billboard Heat Seekers chart with our first EP. We were like right behind The Word Alive. We were like number like 5 on the iTunes metal charts when our first EP dropped. Like it's shit like that just blows my mind still. I think we've stopped appreciating that stuff because we're always so hungry and so focused on what we have to be working on next that I think sometimes we stop to look back and be like, we have a lot to be proud of.
Oh yeah, for sure. Even the fact that you guys are doing it out of Vermont, there's not much going on out of Vermont.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other story. And I drop shit. I choose my words carefully with that because I avoid drama like the fucking plague, and this place is a magnet for it. But like, I mean, all in all, no one ever here really wanted much to do with me as far as the music industry went. And then when Saving Vice started doing stuff, because we started here, but we just played everywhere else. We almost didn't play in Vermont for the most part.
Yeah.
And then until except for like Devil Wears Prada, and then because like yeah, it's like no one really fucked with us, and like the scene was kind of dead here for metalcore. I mean, there's always the hardcore stuff, but like there wasn't those shows here anymore. It's just they didn't exist. The scene was gone. Like it wasn't what it was like when Motionless in White was playing here when they were local. It's like so that was pretty much really hard because I think I've driven 3 hours for like every band practice we've ever had.
Right.
Because we're always scattered. Now it's like even weirder because we're like really spread out because like of how we like only 2 of us live in Vermont right now, even though we're like obviously a Vermont band. But we make it work. It was weird because like the headliner we're playing this Saturday for NHB Fest. They were like the ones who gave us our first real shot. They were booking us back when I was just not even planning to stay in the band. Like back and like we opened and sold tickets and played with a bunch of deathcore bands who didn't like us because we're the only band with singing, and we just kind of stuck it out. And then next thing you know, we were like playing bigger shows and opening bigger shows and then headlining our own shows. And like Manchester has always been awesome because it always pops off. It's always been our best, like some of our best shows. Like I always know if I'm going to like a Manchester or New Hampshire show that it's gonna be amazing because we got our start playing out there because that's where people gave us a shot, you know.
Yeah.
And Massachusetts was a big one because our two of our other guitarists originally who aren't in the band anymore were from Mass, so it was like we were kind of like a Massachusetts Vermont band, and we were kind of had an identity crisis there because we didn't really get to play here, even though we were from here. So, but you know, eventually the most of like the drama spewing shit kind of fizzled out, and then we just came back and headlined the Higher Ground here for our album release show and sold it out, and so that was kind of like a final, I guess, fuck you to everyone who was giving me shit for 20 years, you know? Like, so I guess I don't know how that was kind of what, but yeah, now it's like I feel like things are different. I feel like things are starting to get back to like the way they used to be around here. I think that yeah, last year would have been a really good year for shows in Vermont if COVID hadn't happened. But because like our show, like there were so many people I didn't even know still listen to that kind of music around here. You know,
Oh
I
yeah.
didn't realize that there was such an audience for it. So when I was like, it was like sold out pre-sales, and like all the people were like rocking out. I was like, okay, like there's definitely like
An audience.
we just need bands like to play here. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
not
for
that
sure.
people, yeah. So that's kind of where we're at, and we'll be back playing in Vermont soon. I can't really talk about that right now, but
Yeah.
that news will be out soon.
Yeah, I love going to Higher Ground whenever there's a band because I was supposed to go see All That Remains in March, right when COVID happened, and they had to cancel their show. So I was super bummed out about that.
Yeah, we played with them in 2019.
Yeah.
That was actually the first, if I'm not mistaken. No, I'm thinking of a different show. We played Heavy Fest at the Palladium in Massachusetts, and
I love the
they were
Palladium.
they were headlining. Yeah, like that's where I grew up going to shows. That and Higher Ground. So we were supposed to headline the Palladium literally the month after Higher Ground, but COVID happened, and we're trying to rebook that for the hope maybe this winter because
Hmm.
we like that's still on my bucket list headline the Palladium, but every time it's in my hands it like slips through my fingers. But it'll happen. I'm not too worried about it. But
Yeah. Besides playing music, are you a huge concert goer?
no, because I don't have time. Like
Yeah.
it sucks. Like and I end up playing with all the bands I want to see lately.
Yeah, that
So,
makes
and all the
sense.
artists I really want to see are like too expensive for me to even bother with, you know? So, like, I'm not gonna, or they're from another country.
Oh
So
yeah, that
it's
makes sense.
like, like I feel like almost all I've been listening to lately is like female fronted bands, and most of them are like too big or not coming close enough where it's like, because I mean, if I have like 2 days in a week that I can dedicate to a thing, it's pretty much usually going to either Saving Vice or my art stuff. And then
Right.
there's not a lot of wiggle room between that and then working to like really find time for that. So it's kind of like getting to go do things isn't really a luxury I've had in a really long time. And we're not even a full time touring band yet, you know? So you
Right.
know,
You're staying
but yeah,
busy, and you're creating a career for yourself.
yeah, and I'd like to think that eventually I'll be just doing the music thing and then I'll have more time because I won't be working like, because right now I basically feel like I work two full time jobs on top of each other.
Yeah.
It's like, but except only one's paying me so far because obviously without shows, no one's getting shit. Like we're all putting money into the band right now, you know, to do all this. Like everything's the music video, the production. Like we pay for it all,
Yeah.
and
I'm
we
guessing that
do it
also
all.
comes with being an independent band, right?
Yeah, I mean it's cool because it's basically made us realize that we basically are a label. Like just we just don't have all the lunch table conversations that it's like the only thing between Saving Vice and being exactly where we want to be is just clicky lunch table gatekeeping shit in the industry. That's all it is.
Right.
Because it's like, oh, like you need like all labels care about is monthly listeners on Spotify, but then the labels basically can curate have like all the curators wrapped around their finger for the editorial playlist. So it's like this they control the stat that you need to get their attention pretty much. It's like all this and like you got to know someone or suck someone's dick or do something to get something and it's just like I don't know. We've done fine this far and now we're at a point where we have like everyone in the band has a job. Like I design merch and I do like branding stuff and then Robbie like runs like the business for the most part and like writes a lot of the music and like he has the studio so now we can record ourselves and then Kenji's like our accountant handles all the money and he's like working on the van. Sam handles like the ads online and like keeps up with like our EPK and like stuff like that and then Chase handles all the merch. So it's pretty much a point now. And now we have our own publicist and we have an intern who works for us now. who
Nice.
runs our social media. So it's like we basically have a whole
Setup.
system,
Yeah.
so we can do everything. It's just the last piece is literally just a lot of like, because at the end of the day, to us at this point, all a label is a bank that can basically, and they can literally snap a finger and get you all of the shit that you need to like blow up, pretty much. Because it's like so hard to get verified on Instagram. Like you can't have outside links in your title and all this weird shit like that. And like it's taken forever. And then a band with that then like this band like Until I Wake never played a show. I don't think. Just got signed to Fearless, and like overnight they all have blue check marks on their profiles because it's like, and then they're on all these playlists. Like all it is just know who you know. So we're just trying to like know the right people. Like not we're not trying to like give them all our money.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
At the end
like
of the day, do you want to be a part of a record label?
only if it's the right deal. Like we're not like like I feel like there's too much people think that it means you made it when you're signed, and a lot of the time, most bands who are signed do worse than the independent bands do. It's like because it's all of a sudden like we learn to do a lot of the stuff that a label does for you. We're getting to a point where all we want is their money, but we don't want to have to give it back. So why would we even take it at all?
Right.
Is kind of where we're at. Unless it was something, a label so big that they were going to get us in a place where we would exponentially be making more money and doing more, where it would be worth it, and they were going to instantly, if they were going to fast forward our career like 2 years or something like that, then sure, if it's the right deal. But so far, like nothing's come our way that it was like better than our current plan, because then it's like if we think albums are dumb and we just want to do singles, and then we sign to a label and the first thing they do is shove us in the studio to record an album when we just want to tour right now, it's like I'm not dealing with that. Like I don't want to be on someone else's schedule,
Right.
you know?
Have you ever been under a record label before?
Nope, have not. But I've learned a lot from people who have, and
Right.
it's rarely good. I've found out. Yeah, I've rarely met a band that genuinely got what they wanted out of their label.
Yeah.
But I guess it depends on the artist too. If your music
So
sucks, I guess it doesn't matter.
right. So tell me a bit about that. Like, if you're under a record label, do they really have a say in what type of music you get to put out?
That is a myth.
Mm.
That is there might be a label that's like, hey, we want to put this song out, or you should put this song out, or this would be a good idea. But like, I have never met a band where they're like, yeah, the label made us write that album or something like that. Like that's not a huge, maybe in bigger artists or something like pop artists, but a lot of metal labels they just give you the budget and they're like, go record your album and then send it to us when you're done. And then
Right.
they might be like, oh, you're gonna share that, we're gonna put this song out first, like because they think that that's the way to go money wise or marketing wise. And like in that end, it's like sure, there's probably a lot of weight to that. They are the label. But it's more so for me. It's just like not about being told what to write, but being told like when to jump in, how high. I'm not really into.
Right.
One of the reasons we're in a band is because we don't want to fucking work for someone else and give someone else all our money, all the
Yeah.
money we're working for. So why would we apply that same? We apply the same logic to this.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you guys have any plans on having like any features of other people, other artists in your? You don't have to say names,
Oh,
but you got plans
oh
on
yeah.
that?
So I mean, we had Kaylee Wolf and Rory Rodriguez so far. Kaylee's from Rivals, Rory's from Dayseeker. He was on the first song we dropped off the EP actually. And then we had Kaylee on Eyes Up, which is dope. We're kind of in this thing where like we only really want to get female vocalists.
Mm-hmm.
Like me and Chase kind of do everything that a screamer can do. Like there's like two screamers that would genuinely outshine us on a record at this point, where it would even be worth the money. And like we're not a band where we're gonna put a feature on it for the hype. It's gotta like complement us somehow, or be someone we're just that big of a fan of. So it's like I can say that the next feature that we are wanting to get, but it's not confirmed yet, is a female vocalist. That's all I can say.
That's awesome.
And then there's I have a huge list of people I want to get. I want to get Nothing Nowhere in a song. I want to get I can't remember her name, but the vocalist of Hot Milk on a song. She's amazing. Like I could go all day with like people I'd like to have. Like Spencer Chamberlain's one of those rare exceptions of a screaming like vocalist, that I would want in a song. But like I feel like all the ones we really want are like not, and I feel like women get snubbed so much in the music industry too that it's kind of fun, cool for on that end too because it's like giving more of a platform to like the women in the music scene too because a lot of them I like. I feel like most of my favorite vocalists aren't dudes, you
Right.
know, but they don't, you don't see a lot of women in like the my favorite vocalist memes. So
Yeah.
it's like I think, and people act like female fronted is a genre, and it's like the most fucking annoying thing to hear ever. It's like, dude, it's been like 20 years, and everyone still just was like, oh, they're like Paramore if they see a girl with a microphone, and it's just like, shut the fuck up. Like it's just like female fronted isn't a genre. Like I basically you like you lose credibility with me the second you say that, or if you tell me that you fry scream. Like I don't know what the fuck that means. Like that's
Right.
a made up term. Like it's like stuff like that. It's like but yeah, that's kind of where we're at with it. I mean, I like I said, I have a whole list of stuff. I mean, Halsey is like one of my top bucket list vocalists I want to get on a song. Like that song she did with Bring Me the Horizon, Experiment on Me, was like one of my favorite songs that came out that year, and I just want her to do a rock album so bad. Because, but yeah, it's like, but that's kind of where I'm at with it. Everyone's got a lot of different thoughts. Features aren't as bad of a debate as cover songs are, though. Like agreeing on a cover song for this band has probably been one of the great like struggles. Like we're lucky that we've put out any covers at all with how much we can never agree on a cover.
Right. Um. So do the other guys have different tastes in music? Is that the issue of getting
Yeah,
along
yes
together?
and no. Yes and no. Part of it's different taste. Part of it's like occasionally, like, I remember one time, I don't fucking remember who it was. It's probably Sammy, our drummer. But he was like, oh, yeah, it'd be cool to get, like, I swear to God, he said Lil Xan on a song, and I almost kicked him out of the band. I was like, you know what I mean? I was just like, and because usually it's like I'll have like a genuinely marketable idea that makes sense with our music, and then someone will come out of left field with something stupid, and then it turns into a whole like argument. And everyone gets all riled up, and then someone will be like, "Oh man, I like this guy a lot." It's like yeah, but that guy's not gonna like add to our music. You know what I mean? Like when we got Rory, we were supposed to. It was between Rory and Spencer from Ice Nine Kills, and I'm not like Ice Nine Kills is fine. I have nothing against them, but I don't like Spencer's voice, and I didn't want it in our music. Even though he was way bigger, he probably would have got us a lot more hype on the song. But Rory's a way better vocalist and suited the song way more. And he was less expensive too, but that wasn't really the point. It was just that they were arguing, oh well, he's gonna like hype it up and blah blah blah, and I'm just like, no, I don't care. I'm not gonna want to hear it. I don't like my music. Like I write, my band is my favorite band, so I'm not gonna put a guest feature on it just for the clout and then want to skip over it every time I hear it.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
hear
kind
you.
of where I was at. That's been like so it's kind of like the cover songs. It's just like, oh yeah, we should cover. It'll be like, oh yeah, or someone will be like, oh, I think it'd be so sick if we covered this, and it's just like the point. It's just like a weird, out of date, out of pocket song. And it's like, or it's something that wouldn't translate well with us. It's like if I pick a cover song, I gotta picture it in my head, like, oh, here's where you can put the breakdowns. This part would be Chase, and it would be cool. This part would be me, and it would feel. It's gotta feel like a Saving Vice song once we cover it. Is kind
Yeah,
of my rule.
you got to
So
put your
like,
own spin on it for sure. Like you did the
yeah, like
cover of Another Life by Emotionless in White. I thought that was awesome. It's a
yeah, so
great
that was
song.
cool. Yeah, and then we did like the Bring Me to Life one, and that one was sweet because I'm like, okay, sweet, Chase, you're the guy, I'm the girl. Like we do their parts, and it makes sense. You come in and scream his little rappy part. Like it was kind of like I really want. Like I have a list of songs I've been trying to get the band to do. Like I really want to do like the Call by the Backstreet Boys. I think would be such a fucking badass metalcore song if it was done right.
Yeah,
Like stuff like that. Also stuff that's gonna like let us play with production. Like I really wanted to cover "In the Air Tonight" by Phil Collins. Well, me and Chase both do because I just feel like there's so many cool things we could do with like the backtracks and the sounds and the electronics and like making it really ambient and atmospheric and then super heavy at the end. Like I don't know. Like so that's how I hear it. I listen to it like, oh man, I wish that song was a metal song, and this is how I would do it. And those are the songs I pick, I guess. Unless it's acoustic, which is a whole different story.
yeah. If you had the choice of any bands to go on tour with you that you headline, what bands would you want to go with you?
And we headline.
Yeah.
Oh man. Most of the bands I'm on tour with, I feel like I should be opening for. uh,
Okay, then answer it that way.
okay, cool. So I think the perfect lineup, if we could go on a lineup next year, that would be the absolute just fire. Motionless in White, Spirit Box, I See Stars, Currents. That's what I want.
I love Motionless in White, and I do love Currents. I'm not
Yeah,
familiar with
like
those other bands. I'll have to look those
you
up
ever heard
for
Spirit
sure.
Box?
I think maybe like one or two songs I've
Oh,
looked
bro,
into,
you're
but
sleeping. You gotta go do that right now. Like that's like probably the hottest band in metalcore right now. Like I think I have, if you go to those groups and everyone's like, "Oh, check out what's your favorite band? Like, what are you doing right now?" I don't think there's a single fucking comment that doesn't have Spirit Box on the list.
yeah.
So, the vocalist's name is Courtney LaPlante. She was the recent vocalist of I Wrestled a Bear Once,
Hmm.
if you've heard of them. But
I have not.
she's a beast. Like you can watch her YouTube videos are crazy. But yeah, check them out. They're actually on tour with Limp Bizkit right now. And it's like their first tour since they blew up because they blew up over the pandemic.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Dude, I appreciate you so much for hopping on and talking with me,
Yeah,
and I cannot
absolutely.
wait to hear your new music, whatever comes out, whenever it comes
Well,
out.
I'll throw you this
Give
I'll
me a
throw you
sneak
this
peek.
bone. I can't give you a sneak peek, but I'll throw you this bone. The song that I was talking about that we want to get the female feature on, we just recorded literally yesterday, like this weekend. And it is like heavy. It's like we wanted to make sure that anyone who is really into our earlier stuff didn't hear Phantom Pain and think like, oh man, this is like what all their stuff is gonna sound like now. But the next song is like one of our heaviest songs ever. It's like probably it could have been if it had been on Hello There, it would have been the best song of the album by far. I'm pretty excited for it. It's definitely I think it's the longest song we've ever had too. It's almost 4 minutes, but
Oh wow.
it's pretty friggin' sweet. I'd say if I had to like compare it to anything, I'd say it's kind of like if like Currents, Under Oath, and like Saving Vice had a baby. But yeah, it's I'm pretty fucking. I was actually just listening to the raw recording from yesterday, like right before you called me, just being like, dude, this isn't even mixed yet, and it fucking slaps so hard. And
That's
then
awesome.
if we get the guest feature that I want on it, it's going to break the internet. Let's just put it that way.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, your
Yeah,
last song, Phantom Pain, it blew up pretty quick. Like
yeah,
it's at like what 140,000 views right now. It's only been on a week.
yeah. Some salty dudes were like saying that we had like fake numbers or something. I was like, I didn't even think you could get fake numbers on YouTube, but if that's a thing, I promise you, we wouldn't have left like Hollow Bastion. We was like the highest budget music video we've ever did, and it only has like 10,000 views because of how we premiered it. It's like, bro, if I could have just hundreds of thousands of YouTube views whenever I wanted, I promise you, we wouldn't have a music video with 10,000 views on it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's going great. I mean, I think I'll just end with that. I think the thing that a lot of these bands forget is like, and this is that shit where I'm talking about, where it's like a lot of bands need a label because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know how to monetize themselves the best. They don't know how to collect. Like most bands don't even know what BMI or Sound Exchange is,
Mm-hmm.
which is like literally hundreds and hundreds of dollars in like royalties that we get that most people don't even know exist. That usually the label's collecting because most bands don't. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and so but if people forget, it's just like all these signed bands, the reason they blow up is because they have labels who can pay for advertisement for them nonstop. It's all about ads and stuff. And then people will be like, oh man, I want to cheat and pay for ads. It's like, we're get on playlists. I'm like, bro, that is literally the only way to do it. Like, that's literally what labels do for their bands. Like, a lot of labels just stream their new artist music just on loop to get their first numbers up. Like, people all think like oh man, it's like dude, it's like yeah, it's like how'd you get it? Oh, they're fake, and I'm like no, dude, it's because we fucking advertise and we market. Like we run ads for YouTube and for Facebook and Spotify. Like that's what you got to do. And people are
Yeah.
like, oh man, how'd you get it? Like that's how. That's literally how. That's like your market. Our marketing budget usually matches whatever we spent to record.
Right.
So it's like we spent 10 grand on Hello There, and we spent 10 grand over that last year or two marketing Hello There. And that's like that's what you got to do. And I think a lot of people need to like take that to heart and stop getting like they get butthurt about it. Like it's like they look at they don't know what the industry standard is, and then they think it's like cheating, and it's like really just silly. Which is why like me and Robbie do consults and try to help bands because like we don't have time to be a band manager. Like I couldn't commit to that. But I know we know so many things that you could literally like it's like, hey, pay me for an hour, call me, tell me what you're trying to do. And like we can like literally teach you how to DIY shit or save hundreds of dollars on things and like telling people like, no, don't do that, do this first, then do that. It's like so many rookie mistakes we made that we learned from, and now we can pass that on and pay it forward to other people. So
Yeah.
it's like, I would love to be able to manage a band. That was kind of like what I was trying. I think I would love because I love knowing when I know something can blow up and I have the tools to make them blow up. Like I want to do that. Like you know what I mean? And that's like that'd be a really cool. That's like something that I've always been kind of interested in, maybe doing down the line. But maybe if I ever stop performing, so I can stay involved in music, it's like sweet. Now I can take everything I know and be like, yo, like, it's like, because a lot of the times people have me like, yeah, man, we want to do this and this, but this and this. And half the time, the first thing they need to do is literally kick a member out before they can do anything. Like, a lot, it's like, it's shit like that. They don't, they want their eyes are bigger than their stomachs, saying, like, they see Warp Tour, but they still have a dude in the band who's like on his third kid, has a job he can't quit, and only can practice once every 2 weeks or doesn't show up kind of thing. It's like
Yeah.
if you it depend a lot of people just want to play in a band, like but it's like if you want to be successful or like make a career out of it, there's just shit you can't compromise on. And that's the stuff that like we try to teach bands we work with.
Yeah. For sure.
But hey, thank you so much for having me, man.
Yeah. Congratulations on Phantom Pain success, and I can't wait to hear what
Yeah.
else you guys put out.
Yeah, I think you'll like it, and hopefully I'll see you. I mean, I don't know if you're going to that big show in New Hampshire this Saturday. If you can go, it's gonna be like
Lit.
legendary. But if you can't, we will be coming to Vermont sometime in the fall. I can say that much at least. But yeah,
Excellent.
this is one of those shows that I think is gonna go down in like New Hampshire history, just because it's like the return to COVID show. They got like, I mean, almost every band on that flyer from like the middle up could headline their own show. It's like that's why it's so crazy. It's like it's so stacked. It's going to be a good time, and like we're doing a special set list for it that is not something that we would normally play, especially on tour. So it's going to be fun. But I appreciate you having me, and I'm sure I'll see you around the area.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Tyler Small.
Yeah.
See you later.
Hey, take it easy, homie.